Okay, we've started the video. We've got all the videos going. Okay, welcome back. West Gray. It's kind of a gray day today, so we've got an update to the Fimi X8 Mini. It's 1006N as in November. Went from 6E to 6N, and the app version is 1.06. Okay, now I'll do a screenshot here of what it was supposed to fix or address, and that was two issues. One was the lighting sequence for compass calibration on the LEDs of the drone, and second was a more precise gimbal calibration to address the horizon tilt. So what I did was I reset my gimbal calibration parameters to factory. Then I put the drone on a completely level piece of granite, did the gimbal calibration, and we're here. We're now going to do a compass calibration. So let me show you the firmware. Where's the firmware? The firmware numbers are right there. Okay, 1006N. Camera is still 2007C. And again, we have to go in and change the camera to high and make sure that those grid lines are on. We have, what do we have? 2.7K at 30, and watch when I change it to 60 frames per second. Okay, and then we'll go back and change it to 30 frames per second. And you'll notice the difference in cropping. That may or may not address the issue of spotlighting or vignetting, but 60 frames per second seems to crop in the picture slightly. Okay, so now we're at 2.7, 30 frames per second. We're going to do a compass calibration just like the book tells us. Last time, you remember, we have a green flashing light. As soon as I pressed start, it would turn red. So let's do the compass calibration exactly as it says in the instructions. I push calculate. It says turn the drone. Okay, you can read it there what it says. So the color didn't change. So I'm going to pick it up and turn it clockwise. Okay, I pick it up, it turns red. And we have a failed compass calibration. So let's do it again. Compass calibration. Light is green. Calibrate. Turn horizontally to the right. Light is green. 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 Light hasn't changed color, hasn't gone off. Green, green, still turning green, green. Nothing's changed. I keep on turning. I'm just going to keep on turning. It says to turn it until that light changes. And I keep turning and turning, and we fail. So let's put it down. So that doesn't quite work. So let's try it the old-fashioned way. We hit that. We hit calculate, calibrate. Light is green. I put it down. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm just going to pick it up upside down. We notice the light changes to red. 2, 3, 4, and we have a successful calibration. Okay, and the animation did not change until I went from horizontal to vertical. Okay, now it says restart the drone before you continue. So I'm going to shut this all down. I'm going to turn this off, my recording, and I'm going to turn off the controller and turn off the drone. So that's turned off. So now everything's turned off. We're going to restart the drone, restart the controller. We know we've just calibrated correctly, even though it's not what the book tells you to do, but we have a successful calibration. I've recalibrated the gimbal, the auto calibration. Remember last time on version 1005C and 6C, I had to manually adjust. In 5C, I had to go to -1 on the R-axis, and on 1006E, which they addressed the issue a little bit, I only had to go to -0.6. Okay, so not quite as much. So we've got a kind of a break between the wind. We're going to send it up and see if the calibration holds. Okay, and I'll go up and down a few times, and I also want to show you, I think, is a little bit better way to get a precision landing or a closer landing. Okay, so let's turn everything back on again. Okay, I'm just going to close everything here. I'm going to start the controller. I've started the controller. Start the drone. And we're going to wait for the green light. Okay, we wait for the green light on the back of the controller. And I have everything plugged in this time. It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. It turns red, green. So I enter. And I start. And we have a picture. Again, let me start the screen recorder. Okay, we started the screen recorder. You see that there? Now we have to go back in again, go to camera, and change it to high, and make sure we have that on. We have it at 2.7K at 30 frames per second. We have how many satellites? I have to go into the shade to have a look here. It says we're good to go. We have 13, I believe, or 11. 11. Let's see if we can get enough for that amber light to go out. Then we're going to do a manual takeoff up maybe a couple of meters, because 4 meters on the auto takeoff is way up there. Okay, so there we go. We're in between amber and white on the satellites. There we go. Okay, so let's do a in, down and in. Started, and we'll go up. And we'll stop it there. And there's very little wind here. It doesn't like it. And we didn't get the signal that says home point has been, but like I haven't touched anything, and it's off the map already. Let's come back to the middle here. And let's bring it down, and we'll start another one. Put it on the chest, put your hand under. And we stop. Okay, so let's try this again. We'll put it down on the X. We'll have another liftoff. This time I will do an auto takeoff and see if it does any better. We have to wait. Now we're back in the yellow again. We're back to that. Okay, so let's do an, are we still recording? Yes, we're still recording. Let's do an auto takeoff. Slide it over. We'll do an auto takeoff. It's a little better. Do we get any message on the screen? There you go, and they changed it back to English, which is really good. On 1006E, it was in Chinese, so that's a good thing. Okay, it is better, so bring it down. There it is. We're going to start the video. Start the video. We're going to go up just above the tree line. It's a little windy. Have a look at that. If we can see the horizon, to see how that looks. It's a little bit windy up there, but that horizon's pretty good. Let's do a quick turn around here. The other way. Not bad, but I think it's off a couple of specs, which I'm not surprised at. I'm not surprised. I know you've got to fiddle with it, but it's not bad. It's not bad for being automatic. Yeah, it's depending where I am from the height of everything around me, it's not bad. So I like that. So in this one flight, that's not bad. Okay. Now I know my metering on my camera is set for average, which I can't change right now, which is good. And it's set for daylight, auto. Okay. So we'll just go forward a bit. And we're up about 20 meters or so. Whoa, we just about hit that tree. Let's go forward. We're going to hit a return to home. Return to home and see where it comes. Now, one thing I did last time is when it came back, as soon as it started to descend, I dropped the camera and it tended to move over to the X. So let's see if it happens this time. It's going up to its 50 meters, which is really windy. It's pretty windy up there. I'm not surprised that the tilt is off a little bit, but again, it needs some manual adjustments. And it's coming down. So once it gets down about 30 meters or so, I'm going to drop that camera. Is it going to go over any? I'm getting ready to cancel it. Yep, it's moving over. There it goes. Okay. So it's off about, I haven't touched it, didn't touch it. It's off about 1.5 meters. Okay, so I have no idea what that Chinese means. I'll have to put that into Google and find out. Okay, probably says something about can't find the landing pad. But anyway, so let's bring the camera up. And we're going to turn it around, come up a bit, turn it around, stop the video, and we're going to do a hand catch again. Underneath. Okay. We're going to turn it off. And we're going to turn the controller off. Shut down the apps. And turn off. Nope, not that one. Yeah, I know it's not really good to fly. I'll get there eventually. Stop that. Okay, and we're going to start it up again. Okay, let's see if we can get our thing going there. Okay, start the controller. Start the drone. And it's wanting to start the app, but I'm going to wait until the light turns green. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. When the light turns green, I'm going to enter the app. Light turns green, I enter the app. I press enter again. I have picture. I have to go back in to camera, do my high, my thing. We're 2.7 at 30. Okay, this time I'm going to go up. I'm going to take a video, stop the video, switch to 60 frames per second, take another video. Let's see exactly how much it crops in. Okay, so we don't quite have enough satellites yet. We're on that 12, that verge of 12. Once it turns white, we'll send it up again. It seems to take, because it's overcast, I'm not surprised it takes a little bit longer, but well, maybe there's a good amount there. Okay, so let's start the auto takeoff. See if we get that message again that says takeoff is complete. There you go. Okay, now this is at, I just started the video. This is at 30 frames per second. 30 frames per second. Okay, we're going to stop the video. And we're going to switch it to 60 frames per second and start the video. And that's at 60 frames per second, exactly the same hover spot. Okay, there you go. So we don't need the video right now, but we're going to go back. We can't change it, so we have to stop the video, change it back to 30. There we go. We're going to start the video again. And we're going to go up. There we go. And it's pretty level. It's pretty level. It's not bad. Good job, Fimi. Good job. It is a little better. Okay? It's really windy up there, so we're going to bring it down. It's a little too windy for this bird today. But I think we've proven a few things. Okay, let's stop the video. And we're going to do the same catch again. There we go. So let's do a conclusion. Let me put this away. And we'll do a conclusion. Okay. We're all done. It's getting a little bit windy here, so putting this up is not advisable right now. There's a bit of a leaf in there. Okay, so the Fimi X8 Mini. Okay, a few things I do like about it, more things I don't like about it. But in this latest update, they changed the color sequence of the compass calibration, but it doesn't match the instructions. So in either case, we found out that spin it 4 times horizontally and 4 times vertical, you're going to get a successful calibration. The gimbal calibration that they've redone the second or third time seems to be not bad. Not bad. Maybe I can tweak it a little bit. I took it up 3-4 times this time. It seemed pretty good, so we'll see what happens. I'd not be surprised if you have to manually tweak it just a little bit. Maybe 0.0102, but honestly, it didn't look too bad, okay? We did notice that going to 60 frames per second versus 30 frames per second produces a different result as far as your field of view, okay? So the thinking that if you have vignetting, does cropping it to 60 frames per second assist in that, okay? It's overcast. I doubt we could really tell, but when we look at the video, we're going to find that out. The second thing I noticed, and it's happened the last 4 times I've tried to do a precision landing, as soon as it starts to come down, I flip the camera straight down. And that seems to bring it back within a meter or so, and I will say a few times, it did land on the cardboard, okay? But without doing that, it's been off as much as 8-10 meters. So maybe that does help. So these are workabouts or tweaks, if you will. So yeah, there are a few more updates to do, some little calibration errors to fix, some software issues to update, some instructional videos to put out, some tutorials that Fimi has to put out, some more documentation they should be putting out. Someone who just bought this as their first drone and tried to do a compass calibration without seeing any of my videos or anybody else's videos on compass calibrations or IMU calibrations would be pulling their hair out, because you can turn this thing as much as you want and nothing's going to change. And it doesn't change the way the instructions tell you. But we found that just 4 times horizontal, 4 times vertical, it changes and you can go ahead, okay? So I'm impressed with the gimbal calibration. Not so much the changing of the color. It really made no difference. It's just a different color. It's green instead of red. But it really doesn't change when you start turning it. And as you notice on this one, the first time I did the compass calibration, it was flashing alternate red and green. And we'll look on the instruction book and see what that says. Sometimes it means it's internal errors. Sometimes it means it's a firmware update. But we know we weren't doing any of that, okay? So again, the Forrest Gump of drones, Fimi, you just never know. You never know what you're going to get. No 2 flights are identical, but it's a fun little toy. I can see that fun little toy. NFZs, NFZs, whatever you want to call it, no fly zones, not affected by this. You can fly in a conservation area or a park that may be within a blue zone that you'd have to get permission from DJI to fly, you know, which I have done in the past, to fly 50 meters high and all this kind of stuff. These, like the Hubsons and all the other ones, they'll fly in those areas, but you're taking a risk because technically it's not allowed, but these don't alert you to that. Okay, so just be warned. You could be flying in a restricted area, a blue zone or whatever, and it's not going to tell you. But that's up to you, okay? Overall, it's getting better, but a lot of things, and I'll beat a dead horse here, if you will. A lot of things I'm not really happy with. A lot of people say I'm overcritical, I'm a perfectionist, I expect more from a cheap drone. It's not a cheap drone. Okay, I got it at 319, pardon me, I got it at 319, but that was on a limited production first run. Now they have a second limited production first run at 349, but all the other stores are 450, 480, 460. And when you start going over that 400 mark or close to the high 390s, you're talking DJI realm. And as we all know, DJI is in a league of their own. You really can't compare, but you are comparing quality to those drones. But for a first-time toy hobby-grade drone, it does what it's supposed to, but it's not on that level of perfection. Okay, oh, that level of precision. Okay, I'm not a DJI fanboy. I respect that they are very good quality crafts. I would not class Fimi or Hubsan in the very good quality crafts. A lot of fun, because you never know what's going to happen. Not on the same level. So it's really unfair to compare the two. However, as long as this is in that price range of the DJI products, it's going to get a fail. I could say this is a phenomenal drone at $299, $279. At $399, $425, $450, $480, no, it's not. Anyway, we spoke about the latest update. It pretty well did what it said it was going to do. It changed the color of the LED, and it fine-tuned the gimbal calibration slightly. Okay, so yes, it did what it was supposed to do. Okay, still not happy with the compass calibration, the way it's set out, the way it's illustrated, the way it's instructionalized, but that's for another update. Hope you enjoyed this. The weather's really windy. We went up and down a few times. We tried to calibrate everything and do everything as honestly as we could. You be the judge. The black box files on this have been sent to them a couple of times. They said nothing wrong with it. And another point, remember on the Anafi and the Bebop and the Hubsan and even the SC20, 2020, 2018, whatever, if you couldn't get it to stop, and the motors you couldn't get to stop, you'd flip it over and it would stop. Okay? If you flip it over to stop the motors, it's registered as a crash. If the craft comes down and it's an auto landing, and I've had it a few times, it settles down and then just bounces a few times, once or twice, that registers as a crash. Now, Fimi hasn't told me whether or not a crash voids your warranty, but I'm thinking that's what they're thinking, unless you can absolutely prove you didn't manipulate it into that action. But simply taking the craft and turning it upside down and putting it back, registering as a crash, does it void your warranty? It's interesting. So if you have to stop it, do it. Don't worry about it. Okay? It's not a crash. It may register as a crash, but I'm sure you can talk your way out of that one. Okay? The Fimi X8 Mini. Not bad. Not bad. But I like my Mini better. The DJI Mini. Okay? Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'm sure there's going to be another update coming. We'll see what happens then. Right now, it flies pretty good. As soon as the weather changes and gets better, we'll be on to the next one. Okay? Till next time, goodbye.